Would you like to see football wherever you are in the world?
With NordVPN, you can get premium protection online and set your location so you never miss a minute of the content you usually enjoy.
Go to nordvpn.com/TSUW to get 72% off a 2-year plan plus 3 additional months absolutely free. Hello and welcome to another match preview. We are previewing Barnsley versus Sheffield United at Oakwell. The kickoff is 12:30 and you cannot watch this anywhere in the UK unless you have a VPN that spoofs your location and obviously it gives you online privacy. But where can you find one of those? Well, you'll have seen it a second ago. NordVPN, specifically nordvpn.com/TSUW for the Sheffield United way. We'll leave the link in the description as well, and you can get 72% off. Well, Nick, you were right until Sky Sports changed their mind and put it on the red button. So there you go. As you can see on screen right now, Barnsley versus Sheffield United, 12:30, Championship, Sky Sports Football, red button. So if you've got Sky Sports Football, click the red button and enjoy, hopefully. Now, back to the video. Anyway, I'm going to bring Hal in. And wait, before we get into this, Hal, we're going to talk about members, aren't we? Because we got a new member in the last watch along, didn't we?
Yeah, which I was hosting, so I was delighted to get a new member. Thanks to Portland, Oregon Blade, thanks to Phil Crooks, thanks to Steve York, thanks to David Morewoods. I mean, so many of you that regularly support the channel.
Yeah, and they're going to be soon receiving preferential videos. Some are going to be just for them, and some are also going to be kind of a week in advance of people that aren't members. So you're going to be seeing that very, very soon, aren't they, Hal? Very soon.
Oh, ridiculously soon. So if you want to get involved in this, where it says subscribe on YouTube, just next to that is a join option. Hit that. There's a load of options like bronze, silver, or gold. Nick, I believe you set the gold option quite high, but
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
There are a few options, and it would really help us with the channel's running costs.
Absolutely, and we're going to do this, Hal. Put your head to that side, the other side, yeah. We're also still selling these mugs. We've only got 5 available left on now on Etsy. So if you haven't picked one up already, make sure you do so. I'll put a link in the description of this video too. Your head's getting further and further that way. You can bring it back now. Oh, it's there. It's there. Exciting.
It's
there. You've got one. Bobby's got one. My mum and dad's got one. I only ordered 3, and now I have 0 for myself. So that was a bit silly, wasn't it?
Well played.
But anyway, we move on. And now, Hal, I'm going to just get rid of you just for a second. There you go. You're gone. But you're still there, aren't you?
Yes.
You're still there. There we go. Excellent. So let's get into the last game, even though we don't really want to talk about this last game. There was a lot of, well, I'm going to say a lot of ups and downs. A lot of downs, really. There was a period where end of the first half, beginning of the second half, where we showed like we're a good footballing team. And then Morgan Gibbs-White gets himself sent off. But we're not going to be talking about the negatives. We're just going to focus on positives. First of all, there were few and far between, really, weren't they, the positives? Ben Davies was brilliant to watch in the game. I tweeted about it straight after the game. The only positive from this game was Ben Davies and how he played out from the back. One person on Twitter said that Ben Davies was really, really poor bringing the ball out. And it got 0 likes, 18 comments, and I think it was 8 quote retweets. So, when that happens, people don't agree. So, yeah, Ben Davies had a brilliant game for me. And actually, I think him and Egan both defended quite well. And Dyer was fantastic when he came on. Really, really good. As soon as he came on, he was all over the place. He nicked the ball off someone. And we all know towards the end of the game, he could have won that game for us. And I don't really think Millwall deserved to win it, in all honesty. And really, Olsen, could he do any worse? I don't think so. Hal, what do you think? You're happy clapping, aren't you? You're happy clapping right now. You don't want to say it.
Right. So I did a video when we signed Robin Olsen and I said what a great signing he would be. And I got quite a bit of grief in the week from various different people. One guy said, "This is why you should never watch YouTube." And I was thinking, it's all well and good, like when someone's not playing particularly well, to bring these things up. Not many people are bringing up the videos that you and I did last year when Aaron Ramsdale was having a tough time, and we both stuck up for him, said he would be player of the season. And you might remember I said he'll one day play for England. Well, no one's bringing those up again, are they? So it's all very subjective. And I do still believe that Olsen will prove to be a good signing. It's just not happening for him quite as he would have hoped right now.
Yeah, and really, Everton fans were singing his praises, weren't they? And really, we haven't seen him in a red and white shirt playing the Championship before. So all you can do is go on what he's done before. You can't see into the future, mate. And,
yeah, I'm not clairvoyant. You're right. You're right.
And you said that Ndiaye was going to be a very good signing, and I said that Morgan Gibbs-White was going to be the best signing that we did all transfer window. And look what's happened. So we're not always wrong, are we?
We're not always wrong, although you picked the wrong time to highlight Morgan Gibbs-White.
Well, he's only a dive, isn't he? Let's be honest. He's probably been our best player this season. So
Blades against diving. You know that campaign. It's officially kicked off.
Yeah, I love that from Tufty Club as well. Absolutely love it. Anyway, so last time out, what happened?
It was the 7th of April, 2018. Unfortunately, it was a 3-2 win for Barnsley. Tom Bradshaw, who we saw in the middle of the week, his late goal gave Barnsley the victory. They were the home side, of course. We're going back to that game at Oakwell. They began positively. Gary Gardner put them ahead with a fierce drive from the edge of the box. John Fleck equalised for United. We really raised our game after the break. Leon Clark beat the goalkeeper, Adam Davies, at the second attempt to give us the lead. But then who else? Ollie McBurney, pal, brought Barnsley level from close range. I think it was the last time Ollie McBurney scored. And Bradshaw nodded in Kiefer Moore's cross to seal the win. I hated this game.
Bradshaw? What's he doing there?
I absolutely hated this game. I thought afterwards, playoffs gone. I hated Ollie McBurney at the time. At the time, you know, I like Ollie McBurney. I really think that given service, I think he scores goals. I don't think he's a player that misses chance after chance. I just don't think he's been given great service. And when we have seen him given good service, like that game, Brighton away, took that goal really superbly in that first season in the Premier League. We saw him score a lovely goal against Southampton in the League Cup this season. I do think, given service, he will score goals.
Okay, well, fair enough. You've heard it here first. We barely ever get anything wrong, do we, Hal? So,
we don't get anything wrong, but if we do, we bloody hear about it.
Yeah, we bloody do, don't we? Right, let's talk about the team news. And again, we've got loads and loads of injuries and now suspensions. So Rhys Thornton-Davies, Ollie Burke, Luke Freeman, all back and rejoining training next week. Bogle, on the other hand, they've not assessed yet, or they hadn't assessed when they spoke to Slav. So we're not too sure. He hadn't trained the previous 2 days after the game. So we're not too sure on Bogle at the moment. Baldock, on the other hand, is apparently available this weekend. It's whether Slav decides to risk him or not. One player that we definitely know is not going to be playing is Morgan Gibbs-White, as he is suspended for this game after his 2 bookable offences in midweek against Millwall. So who's going to replace him? Well, I'm going to bring my team up on screen and I'm going to go through them now. So in goal, even though it sends shivers down my spine just saying his name, it'll have to be Robin Olsen in the net. You don't bring in an international goalkeeper and don't play him. So, yeah, I'm expecting him to get much, much better, as
Nick,
Al said earlier.
I was trying to think, who's the last number one for their country that Sheffield United signed when he was number one for their country? And I think I've come up with it. And I'm not going to put you on the spot right now to answer that. Instead, if you think, pop it in the comments. And, Nick, I'll give you the whole video to have a think. You can always tell me afterwards.
That's a great question. It's got to be a rubbish country, surely.
I'm not saying anything.
It's got to be. Rubbish country at football, not in life. So, right back. This was actually done just before we realised that Baldock was coming back in. So it could be Bash, as he did come on for Bogle in the last game at right back. At centre-back, we have Egan next to Ben Davies. As I was saying in one of my tweets after the Millwall game, Davies's unflappable ball playing needs to be injected into my bloodstream. Such a fantastic player, like I said earlier on as well. After a small bump during the game on Tuesday and going down, I was expecting the worst. But Stevens got back up, and I'm expecting him to start in this game. No one to replace Hourahan will make me a lot happier after his cameo on Tuesday. Fleck will have to play, even though he hasn't been great, but he definitely needs to cut out those bad habits that Norwood's passed on to him from last season. You know the ones when he receives the ball on the edge of the box and turns straight into trouble. It's getting really, really frustrating. Moving on to the attackers, and Ndai on the right for me, even with his cramp problems. I don't care. He has to play the full match. He's too good to come off. Ozzy will keep his place in the team, as always, on that left-hand side. Because really, how would you feel if we had someone else on that wing? Because I think the team would be a lot weaker. Then next to Osborne, I feel that 𝐍𝐸 will play, but he'll need to be near on perfect to keep his place for the following game when Gibbs-White is back. But for me, in this game, 𝐍𝐸 is our best option. And finally, will Sharp start, even though I think he needs a rest, Hal. I really, really do think he needs a rest. But if he does start and he does score against Barnsley, we should be building him a castle on the hill.
Okay, I got some of those.
Okay. Who was it?
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran. Yes.
Well played, sir.
Right, okay. Hal, go for it. Opposition team lineup. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let you talk.
Barnsley currently stand 23rd in the league. They're all over the Marcus shop. They lost on Wednesday night against Borough. They played fairly well, but they really lack cutting edge. They don't create many chances. Barnsley have lost 5 games in a row now. They have only won 1 game all season. They've only scored 7 goals and they've conceded 17. Not what any team would want to hear. Halm, who used to play for Leeds, will be out through injury till at least the end of November. Benson and Anderson are also sidelined. No word on Hedges. There is also hope that Liam Kitchen could be nearing a return, and the summer signing Olare is pushing for a start after making his long-awaited debut off the bench against Borough in that previous game. Palmer could earn a recall after dropping out of the side in midweek, but he's on a yellow card after incurring a 1-match suspension. Barnsley play a 3-4-3 formation. They will likely line up with Collins in goal, Hondermark, Hellick, Moon and Britton, Palmer, Styles, Williams, Woodrow, Olare and Odor, who was in Game of Thrones. I think we are going to see a team here that need to get a win to keep their manager in a job.
Are you talking about us or are you talking about Barnsley?
I'm talking about the home side. And also, you ready to start booing the referee for this game?
Not Keith Stroud, is it?
Well, thankfully not. He's from Surrey. It's Gavin Ward.
Gavin Ward. I went to school with someone called Gavin Ward.
Well, it's not the same guy, because this bloke's from Surrey, but he's taken charge. All right, he might have moved. Gavin Ward, who you went to school with, has taken charge of 144 championship matches. I've done a lot of research for this one, issuing 495 yellow cards, 11 double yellows, and 15 straight reds. He's given 38 penalties. The last time he reffed us was ages ago. A 1-0 win away, the 6th of April, 2019, at Preston. And you might think, who cares? What does it matter who the referee is? Well, the last couple of games, it really has mattered who the man in the middle is.
It has, but I really do feel like you need to get a life, mate, if you're doing all this research on referees.
Cheers. You're the one who's working in Ed Sheeran songs into your team lineup. So let me give you a score prediction, 3-1 Blades, and I'm saying Ben Osborne hat-trick. It's going to happen once.
I'm sure you said Ben Osborne hat-trick last week as well.
I've said it 3 times.
3 times now?
Because I'm going to keep saying it, yeah.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter what my score prediction is. They're never right.
Not really, that's true. 1-0, well, 2-1 it's been the last few games, hasn't it? So I could have gone 2-1 Blades, but I'm going to go 1-0 Blades. I don't think either team are particularly doing well. So, yeah, hopefully 1-0 Blades, Billy shot towards the end of the game. like it was all them years ago when he wasn't doing too well and scored the goal, ran into the crowd. Love life. So hope
get lost, Sharp. Get lost.
Get lost, Sharp. Get lost, Sharp.
Strong stuff. Strong stuff. I wonder if he'll recover from that.
I'm not sure about that. He's not heard anything as bad as that before, has he?
Gosh, if only that was true.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move on straight into player connections, or played for both, if you like. And I'm going to go with Mr. Brian Howard. Wait. Let me do a Hal. Brian Richard William Brotherton Howard. I did not know that was his full name until I just looked at it then. Brian Howard, fantastic at Barnsley, 121 games, 27 goals. That last season that he played for them, he was great. Obviously scored the goal that beat Liverpool as well. Came to the Blades initially on loan, 15 games, 1 goal, and then 15 games, 1 goal when he actually signed for us fully. We expected a lot more, I think, from Brian Howard. He was, like I said, he was great at Barnsley. We expected him to come in as kind of a number 10. He just wasn't the same player when he came to Bramall Lane. He never reached the promised land of the Premier League, did he? He was always a Championship player.
I met him on a train once. He was really nice.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, before I did this, otherwise I'd have asked him to get on the channel. But someone we definitely do one day want on the channel is Mitcham David Ward, who I'm going to give you next as our player connection, played for both. One of my favourite players of all time, came through the youth system. Good height for a man, 5'8", 154 appearances, 11 goals for the Blades. Took a lovely penalty, then was sold on my 16th birthday to Everton. Didn't quite work out for him there, only 23 appearances. Then he went on to Barnsley and finished his career at York City, 31 appearances in the 03-04 season. And I sponsored him during that season as well.
I'm going to go into my next one. And the reason why I've left him to last is because he's one of my favourite Sheffield United players of all time. Jono 𝐍𝐸𝐲, we absolutely loved him. I absolutely loved him. Scored lots of goals for us. Scored not as many for Barnsley. He was a great player. He wasn't an out-and-out score goals every week striker. He had everything. He could hold the ball up. He was great with the ball to his feet. He scored some wondrous goals. He scored goals with his feet. Oh, favourite goal? Yes, it was a volley from kind of like the John Street side of the stand. I can't remember who it was against, but I was sat on the cop for that game, and I missed it because everyone jumped up, and I was really small at that point.
You were what, about 5'10"?
Yeah, I was probably the same size as you.
I've got a favourite against Stockport when he stepped over the ball with one foot and smashed it in with the other.
That was fantastic.
I'm going to give you one of my favourite Blades of all time. Not actually that popular now in his hometown of Barnsley, but Christopher Paul Morgan, who was also a caretaker manager of the Blades twice. 185 appearances for Barnsley. Do you think he made more or less for Sheffield United?
More.
Correct. 247, loads more. Interestingly, he scored 7 goals for Barnsley. Do you think he scored more or less for Sheffield United? It's exactly double. He got 14 for the Blades. So
that sounds a lot, that.
14 in 247. I suppose it's not bad for a centre-back.
Yeah. For someone like he wasn't massive either, was it? I think if Chris Morgan was 6'2", 6'3", then he would have scored a lot more goals in the air. But for a centre-back, even though he was huge, like stocky, and he didn't take no prisoners, we'll say, well, I think that I think people thought that he was bigger than what he was, but he wasn't. Yeah. Not the biggest of centre-backs, but the hardest of centre-backs.
And a heart of gold by all accounts. I have to say, I met him on holiday in Mallorca, and he could not have been more generous with his time. So Chris Morgan, my final choice.
What a guy. Great. There's a great lineup there, wasn't there? Mitch Ward, your favourite player. Chris Morgan, one of the best captains we've ever had. Jono 𝐍𝐸𝐲, fantastic footballer. And Brian Howard. Right, okay, that's it. We're done. Thank you very much, Hal, for being here.
No, thank you.
No problem at all. And we will see you for the match reaction straight after the Barnsley game. See you then.